We're back. With a lot of pain in the markets, there is a lot of pain in the markets. We need to get serious for a second because things are not looking so hot, including my eye. My eye is looking pretty freaking bad. I've got a sty in my eye. So, yeah, pain everywhere. We're going to break it all down though. Bitcoin, almost 3%. Gold, almost 1%. S&P market hasn't even opened yet, 1.15%. So pain all across the board. But as per usual, we're going to break it all down, and we are going to give away another 5K 3-step challenge. Today, we'll give it out to, who should we give it out to? First place, second place subscriber, third place subscriber. Yesterday we did third. So what if we start back up the top and we do number one? You're just going to spam. So let's do number two. Second most engaged subscriber will win a 3-step 5K challenge. I appreciate you guys being here. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Thomas. Sometimes I drink my coffee. Sometimes I drink my coffee black. I really like fasting. It's not as trendy as it was, but I really like to fast. So when I'm fasting, like intermittent fasting, I'll drink it black. Right now, we've got one cream in the coffee. So let's pin this guy here. Let me see here. What are we on today, Thomas? We are on the good stuff today. I used to work as a barista like you. That's very cool. What was your favorite coffee to make? Mine was probably a latte. It's fun to try and make the latte art. Michelle, welcome. Like I said, if you guys just joined, a lot of pain going on right now in the market. Yesterday, things were, looking kind of smooth. They were looking okay, but a lot of pain. All sorts of fasting, mostly intermittent fasting though. I never eat breakfast. I usually start eating around like 1 o'clock. I don't just do it for the health benefits. I get super sleepy after I eat. So I don't like eating in the morning because then I just get super sleepy. So I usually start eating around like 1 o'clock. Bitcoin, 2.6%. Gold, 0.8%. Pound yen, 1%. S&P 1.20%, the Nikkei, the Japanese stock market, 2.4%. Pain across the board. Aussie yen, we're starting to see that safe haven move into the yen, which I've been calling for. I said pound yen, we're going to get some nice shorts. Boom, that's a nice short right there. I also said pound US, and we're starting to see a big sell-off there. So we're seeing a sell-off across the board. DXY is, let me see. DXY is up 0.7%. The dollar is climbing. We spoke about this yesterday. Look at COVID, classic example. When we have that sell-off, the dollar rises. So yeah, there's a lot of bleeding going on in the market right now. 2.5%. Again, we're just below 104. We had this drawn yesterday. 106.5 was a support level. We have officially broken it. So this is what we have right here. If we break 103.6, if we break this guy, we're going down to 100. And we'll look at the polymarket odds of Bitcoin dropping below 100K this year because it is on the rise. So start breaking everything down. If you guys have questions, as always, just drop them in the chat. Crypto pain, dollar gains, and AI bubbles. A lot of stuff to go over. How the government shutdown moves markets. Wendy's is getting grilled hard. U.S. vehicle repossessions are the highest since 2009, and the housing market is crashing. So just a lot of overall pretty negative vibes, unless you're the dollar, because the dollar is doing well. Yesterday was not bad. It was mixed. I mean, the S&P pretty much flat for the most part, 0.17%. NASDAQ 0.5%, so not bad. But the Dow sold off, and Bitcoin yesterday was an over 3% drop. And again, now we're at 2.5% drop. So just, a bunch of pain across the board. What's causing this? A couple of things. One, we have profit taking. So profit taking is, we're at all time highs. Bitcoin was at all time highs. So we're seeing that profit taking, but also the market has finally digested what Powell said last week. And he said, we're not so confident in those rate cuts, in the pace and the number of rate cuts. And the market was really pricing in for perfection that would get that December rate cut and that we would get that early 2026 rate cut. Whereas if I pull up Polymarket, remember, if you've been watching every morning, the odds before last week's Fed decision, the odds for the December rate cut was 90%. Now you can see this guy right here, Fed decision in December, 67% chance. So the market is not as confident in those Fed rate cuts. And remember, that's cheap money. That's what pumps stocks. So profit taking, we have that. The government shutdown, also is just not great for risk vibes. We're not getting all of the economic reports that we usually get. So the Fed has to kind of, fly blind. I don't think, somebody mentioned in the chat, I don't think New York City is impacting the election today, which is absolutely crazy. Let me pull up here the odds. We've got Cuomo versus Mamdani. There were some polls that came out on Twitter that showed Cuomo was actually doing better than people expected, but that's not reflected in Polymarket. And I much prefer Polymarket over the traditional poll. So 92% chance, $123 million are placed on Mamdani, 38 million, 8% chance for Cuomo. So, I don't think that's going to play a factor in the market today. That's taking place today. But yeah, 90% is absolutely crazy. His policies are crazy. It's just absolutely wild. So just overall, it's just bad vibes across the market. And that's why we're seeing this huge sell-off. So I'll keep an eye on the charts out of the corner of my eye. We're at just below 104 on Bitcoin. I will be buying Bitcoin today after this live stream. I will be full disclosure, but I'm not buying it for like a quick dip or a quick, I'm buying for long term. So it's a 20% gain back up to the all-time highs, which is starting to get interesting. So that's what I'm doing there. Crypto joins the pain train. So this was written last night before we had this overnight sell-off. October is supposed to be the worst month for crypto, but it was actually pretty good for crypto. But Bitcoin slept in October and waited until November to start the bleeding. So Bitcoin dropped 3%. 106 support zone. Now we know we're at 104. This one was really interesting, though. There's a 65% chance we dip below 100K this year. That was really interesting on Kalshi. I don't know if I can pull that up, how quickly I can find that. I wonder what it is now. Let's see here. Bitcoin price, Bitcoin get this year. I can never find this one. When will Bitcoin hit 150K? Here we go. How low will Bitcoin get this year? There is a 76% chance that it goes below 100K, which is crazy. Just under $6 million of trading volume on that. A 32% chance that it goes below 90K. So again, that pessimism is coming out from the market. Everyone's feeling those bad vibes. So so what caused it? There wasn't even a new headline, just more profit taking, a bit of Powell hangover from last week when he said he's not sure about future rate cuts, aka the Fed equivalent of we'll see. So if Bitcoin dips below 106K, I'm buying, which I just said, but it's for long term. Okay. Euro hits a 3-month low as the dollar flexes again. So the dollar continues to strengthen. 3-month low, 115 for the Euro USD exchange rate. Last week, Powell said he's not confident about more easing. So again, this is why I say all the time, you need to pay attention to the fundamentals. You need to understand why these things are going on, why we're paying attention to them, because that one catalyst, that one Fed meeting has just rippled throughout the entire market. Hundreds of billions of dollars have moved because of what Powell said and what he didn't say. So again, this isn't a collapse, but it's definitely a warning shot. If we stay near 115, expect traders to test the waters for breakout lower. If I pull up the Euro USD chart, somebody asked about it yesterday. I don't personally trade Euro USD, but you can see here it is it's a big sell-off, a really big sell-off there on Euro USD. Larry says the pound is falling badly as well. Yeah, I've been calling for the last 2 weeks some nice pound yen shorts, pound US shorts. You could see there on the watch list, pound US down 0.63%. So I think that from a fundamental standpoint, that that worked out really, really nicely. I don't know if the technicals lined up, if there was still a good opportunity. But I mean, just fundamentally, it's pretty obvious that this was coming. So that's what's going on with Euro USD. Amazon joins the AI money pile. I think we're starting to see a sell off in AI. I'm not saying the bubble has popped, but we're going to look at Palantir, which is really important. It's just almost every single day, if you've been watching these live streams, there's a new AI deal with whether it's with Nvidia, AMD, Facebook, Amazon. Just insane. OpenAI is just crazy the number of deals, and they're just throwing hundreds of billions of dollars around. It seems like literally almost every single day we're getting these announcements. So this was Amazon stock surging over 6% after announcing a $38 billion deal with OpenAI. And you can see here, it feels like at this point every day there's a $1 billion AI collab. Microsoft, rinse and repeat. Here's the thing: Nvidia is worth $5 trillion on $165 billion in revenue. Let that one sink in for a second, because that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. It's so frothy. The market is so absolutely frothy right now that the bubble's going to pop eventually. The problem is the market can stay irrational much longer than you can stay solvent. So, yeah, Ashley says, didn't Amazon lay off a ton of people? Yeah, they laid off 30,000 people last week, corporate jobs. So that's good for Amazon, not good for human beings, but good for Amazon in terms of their margins. So you can see here, OpenAI, $500 billion Stargate deal, $100 billion Nvidia deal, $100 billion AMD. It's just insane what's going on. And we'll look at Palantir. Palantir had a crazy day yesterday, reported earnings, soared, then absolutely crashed. Countless billions of dollars just wiped out. And yeah, Michael Burry did go short against, against Nvidia? Todd's Trade says. Yeah, I think he does have some short positions open. Michael Burry's doing some crazy things. So yeah, I'm calling bubble, but I'm not calling a pop, right? So this could go on way longer. I'm not saying short the market, because it could just absolutely rip higher. I hope we get a crash though, because these valuations are insane. There's a reason Buffett is holding a record amount of cash. This Bitcoin drop is one example. I love it, right? I want things to drop. It's good to have money on the side. Use these as an opportunity. But here's the thing: as Uncle Munger said, the big money is not in the buying or the selling; it's in the waiting. That's really the lesson of the day. The money is not in the buying or the selling; it's in the waiting. So, right, I'm not jumping into anything crazy, but we got to wait and see. Only thing I have to tell you is buy one, get three. Lark Funding, been running the company for over 3 years now. We launched this yesterday. It's good until next week. It works on our 100K account. So if you buy one, you'll get two 50K accounts for free. So it's a great opportunity for 2026 to start stacking accounts. Before we remove the two-step accounts permanently, they are gone forever on the 15th. And then Lark 3.0 comes with a whole bunch of new features that nobody else in the industry has. Okay, so that's all I have to sell you there. Government shutdown, now a 61-day marathon of nothingness. This again is hurting the vibes, right? Those risk off vibes. This is not helping. The US government shutdown is now expected to last through Thanksgiving until December 1st. According to Polymarket, this would mark a 61-day shutdown, almost doubling the record. Air traffic control is now short over 3,000 employees, which is just absolutely crazy. But I'm more interested in how this hurts the markets. I don't have any trips planned, so air traffic control being short doesn't impact me. Here's the deal. How does this impact the market? No fresh economic data like NFP or CPI means the Fed is flying blind. This is partially why those odds of a December rate cut went from 90% down to below 70%, because they're missing important data. A longer shutdown increases market uncertainty, reinforcing dollar strength, which we are seeing today. We're seeing this week so far. Historically, shutdowns trigger short-term sell-offs and higher volatility. Again, we're seeing that now. So I think this means we're officially in sideways chop. Today, it's not sideways chop; it is downwards chop. But I think we're starting to see some cracks. And I've been saying this. I've been saying this every morning. Things are still looking good in the sense of 85% of S&P 500 companies have beat earnings expectations. But as Ray Dalio said, the economy is basically two factions right now. Right, you have the rich that are still spending, and everybody else is really struggling. So Taking a look at the chat here. Lark is the best and cannot wait for 3.0. Thank you, Ashley. Naruto said he's in a good mood today, so that's excellent. Gold has room to go lower. Yeah, we'll take a look at gold momentarily. Market overview, Robinhood. Again, Robinhood is the best performing stock in the S&P 500 year to date, up over 250%. So they're just trying to become, the platform for literally everything financial. Apple announced they'll be using Google Gemini to power the next version of Siri. Thank goodness, because dude, Siri is the worst. Apple sucks now. And I'm on a Mac. I have an iPhone, but Apple, let's be real. Apple absolutely sucks now. They can't innovate anything. And Siri is so useless. Siri has been useless since the day they brought it out. So absolutely useless. So hopefully Google Gemini can improve that. Wendy's is getting grilled harder than one of their patties, down 47% year to date. Again, when we talk about figuring out, what are the signals in the economy? Are things good? Are things bad? One of the cracks we're seeing is these fast food chains that are really, really struggling. Chipotle, we talked about last week. You have Kava, you have Sweetgreen, you have Wendy's, right? Down 47% year to date. And again, you would think, oh, when the economy cracks, people don't have money for expensive dining, so they're going to go to fast food. It's cheaper, but fast food is not cheaper anymore, right? Since COVID, inflation, it is not cheaper. But what's interesting is Wendy's is now underperforming McDonald's by the widest margin in history. Take a look at this because this is really interesting. I'm not buying the Wendy's stock, but Wendy's now underperforming McDonald's by the largest margin in history. So this is Wendy's here. Uh, I don't know how they created. Oh, it's Wendy's divided by McDonald's. So you can see Wendy's down 47% year to date, but McDonald's year to date is actually 1.3%. So essentially flat. And I think they report their earnings today. So that'll be interesting to see what their earnings are. 2.5% dividend. Wendy's has like a 6% dividend. But yeah, inflation is bad, and this is what's hurting people. This is what's hurting fast food chains. People don't want to go and spend. It's $20 for lunch now. If you get a trio, it's expensive. So McDonald's over, the last 5 years is up 36%, and it barely inches higher. There's not a lot of growth, so that dividend yield is nice. It's a blue chip company. I don't know if Buffett still owns McDonald's, but yeah, it's struggling. Fast food is struggling, and so I thought this was really an interesting, catalyst to kind of keep in mind when we're trying to figure out what's going on. Are things healthy? Are things breaking? And this is a sign of breaking. Hyundai and Ford saw massive EV sales drop in October after federal credits dried up. So they're one of the few car companies that actually report their sales monthly to the public. The stocks didn't move much, but let's be real, we're really seeing the EV hype is fading very, very fast. So it's up to Elon at this point, but we saw Porsche's profits decline like 99% with those federal tax credits drying up. Really, it's an issue that EV hype is out there, but it is dying quite quickly. Tuesday motivation. This was a couple of pairs. This is futures. A pretty after waiting a month, we're finally received this email. Yeah, just a nice little payout. Available balance. It was a huge. I think it was huge. Largest single payout in Asia now. Massive. So pretty cool. Trump crypto insider with 100% win rate gets liquidated. This is an interesting one. Who knows what this is? Who knows if it's actually a Trump insider? Some people think it's Barron Trump. I mean, how can he be 19 years old with like $150 million net worth? But look at this. He just got fully liquidated on his longs. He had Bitcoin longs and he had a 100% win rate prior. 14 successful trades and $33 million in profit. He went all in and lost $45 million in a single trade. If you're having a tough trading day, a tough trading week, a tough trading month, take a look at this, right? $45 million in a single trade. The crypto space is wild. That's absolutely insane. So who knows what it is? Everyone puts Barron Trump, but hand over the fries. What else do we have? U.S. vehicle repossessions have surged to their highest level since 2019. And I just thought it was absolutely hilarious how we have Michael Burry here. Just this meme is so, hey, there's a bubble from the Big Short. So funny. So that's not so great. That is not so great that people are having their again, this is like a leading indicator, right? If people are defaulting on their auto loans, that's not so good. That's not so good. So Michael Burry is absolute legend. More of a legend in the movie than in real life, though. I think he keeps calling all these crashes and whatnot. If you call a crash every single day, eventually you're going to be right. Broken clock is right twice a day. So John Michael says, "Isn't insider trading illegal?" Yes, insider trading is illegal, but insider trading isn't quite as simple as you think it might be for a couple of reasons. One, we have the rise in prediction markets, poly market, where it's decentralized. You don't know who's placing the bet. And so you can make, I think it's technically legal actually to, don't quote me on that, but prediction markets is making things quite complicated with insider trading. But then also, insider trading can be so vague. If you look at Nancy Pelosi, she makes 150K a year, but she's worth like 100 and, you know, $70 million or something. I did the math last week. If based on her current salary, she would have to work over 1,000 years to get to her net worth. But the trades are taken under her husband's name. So it's like at the dinner table, obviously they're going to be talking about, what's going on? Oh, honey, how was your day today? Oh, I spoke with Donald Trump and we're going to be doing this. Oh, let me just go call my investment banker, and we'll short this stock, we'll buy this stock, right? She's not taking the trade. She has the information. So it's, who's to say? Is it insider trading? She's not taking the actual trades. So it's a total mess. The rich get richer. I don't think, the system's a scam. A lot of people are like, well, we got to tear down the system. No, that's absolutely dumb. The rich get richer because they know how to play the game. They own assets. People who don't own assets, right? They're getting inflated away. Fiat's going to zero, right? Hyperinflation, inflation's up over the last 5 years, 20, 30%. I don't think you got a 30% raise. I didn't get a 30% raise. But the people who own assets, right? The market has gone to the absolute moon. So that's really the takeaway. The game's not rigged. You just need to know how to play it. They inflate the dollar, they print it out of thin air. So that's what's going on with that. That's my rant about insider trading. GoFundMe CEO just said something crazy. GoFundMe CEO has said that the economy is so bad that more of his customers are crowdfunding just to pay for their groceries. This was a few months ago when a firm allowed installment payments on fast food. Remember those memes that came out of saying, you can now pay for your Chipotle burrito, over 4 payments over 4 months? Right, which is ridiculous, right? If you need to finance an $8 burrito, I think you've got bigger problems. But this is similar, right? People are crowd funding just to pay for their groceries. Late stage capitalism unlocked crowdfunding dinner. When survival becomes a group project, the system is broken. That's crazy. I mean, with those that SNAP money in the US, right? Those food stamps. It's like 30 million people. Yeah, thank you, Ashley Klarna. Yeah, for those payments. I mean, there's like 30 million people on food stamps, which is crazy. Like that's absolutely insane. That's so many people. There was this woman that got interviewed. It went viral, and she's been on food stamps for 30 years, and that's wild too. So, I understand that a lot of people need a little bit of help, and there's nothing wrong with that. But 30 years is also a long time. And I don't know if crowdfunding to get money for groceries is the right approach. I mean, it takes time to set up a GoFundMe account, right? It takes time to promote it. It takes time to, share it with your friends and family, to text it out. I mean, all of that time, you could be doing something a little bit more efficient, right? So, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the most efficient way to get grocery money. I don't know if a GoFundMe page is the most efficient way to get grocery money. That's just my personal belief. You guys can disagree, right? If you think, that's efficient, that's fine. That's fine. Home sales are headed for their worst year since 1995. Well, everyone my age can't afford a home anyway, so maybe this is good news. But home sales are headed for their worst year since 1995 per Redfin. So yeah, that's wild. I mean, home prices are so crazy. The housing market, again, though, it's not because the system is rigged. Okay. I mean, you had these boomers that bought these houses, back in, 1955 for, two apples and a cow. That's good for them. But we could have bought Bitcoin at, 15K. So, every generation has their own opportunities. But again, it's not because their house is getting more valuable, right? It's because what it's denominated in is getting weaker. And that's what people don't understand, right? You look at your house in 2019, it's worth, let's say it's worth $500,000. Okay. If you look at the same house in 2021, post COVID, 2022, that 500K house went up to $1 million. Did that house become more valuable? No. In fact, it actually probably got less valuable because it got 2 to 3 years of wear and tear of people living in it. It's 2 to 3 years older, right? That house is not more valuable. The reason it went up in price is because what it's denominated in, the dollar has been inflated away. Okay. And so you have to look at the stock market too, right? Are stocks really more valuable? Have companies really become that much more efficient? Probably not. But the dollar has been inflated to the point where, yeah, everything's absolutely mooning, going to the moon. So, same thing with homes, and people can't afford it, right? People can't afford homes. They're so expensive. And so, it's really unfortunate. It's unfortunate for younger people, but we can't complain, right? We can't just say, oh, the system's rigged. We got to work harder. We got to work harder. We got to make more money. That's what it comes down to. Let's see the memes of the day. Don't leave, babe. Rate cuts, the end of QT, a trade deal with China. I don't know why the market is down. It's coming. That's really funny. This one was so funny. I sent this to my friends. This winter arc is going to be crazy. Peter, you're 29. The Spider-Man memes are just so good. Peter, you're 29. Forget the winter arc. You're not 17 anymore. It's been an honor trading with y'all. This one applies so well today. It's been an honor trading with y'all. Another fun fact, I am a huge Titanic fan. Like when I was a kid, the only books I read were Titanic books. So I don't know what that says about me. I was a weird kid, but yeah, I was obsessed, absolutely obsessed with the Titanic. Um, I mean, it's cool. It's cool. How can you not like the Titanic? It's cool. Yeah, big fan of the Titanic. The Titanic book is a good one, says John. I think I'm going to need a little bit more information than that. I think there's a lot of Titanic books out there. I have to imagine the title of the book isn't the Titanic book, but that could be I could be wrong. John asks me, how old am I? Well, that's pretty personal, John. I've just met you. So, John, take me out for coffee before you ask me, these personal words. I'm 26. I'm 26. I turned 27 in March. Let's see what's going on in the market. Has the pain train continued? Oh, the pain train has continued. In fact, the pain train might have gotten a little bit worse. Ouch. 1037. 1037 on Bitcoin. Gold still down 0.83%. So gold hasn't moved too much. And the S&P down 109. Hepler Mert says 26 and you're a billionaire. I mean, maybe a billionaire in Zimbabwean dollars, but yeah, no. More of a tea guy being British and all. Oh, John, a tea guy. Okay, I appreciate that. I understand. The Brits, yeah, you guys got a lot of problems over in Britain, don't you? Yeah. Hepler, what's with all these personal questions? Am I married? Like, guys, if you listen, you gotta take me out for a drink before you ever, before you ask these personal questions. You're gonna make me blush. Yes, I am married. I am married. Send me some BTC, bro. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We don't believe in handouts. We don't believe in handouts. Bitcoin 2.6%. Yeah. S&P 1.09. I mean, when I'm buying, I'm always looking 2%. I'm always looking, okay, if I buy right now, what's the return back up to all-time highs? I've said this before. It's my personal, investment philosophy of I don't want history to be made in order to make money, right? So do I think Bitcoin's going to go up to 150K? Yeah, of course. Do I think it's going to go up to 200K? Yeah, of course. Over time, it might take 20 years. I don't care how long it's going to take, but I'm not going to buy at the all-time high and say, oh, I'm confident that history is going to be made. I'm not interested in that. So that's why Bitcoin's starting to get interesting to me right now, because you could see here, if I buy the S&P 500, back up to all-time historic highs is a 2% return. I don't know about you, but I don't get out of bed for a 2% return. But on Bitcoin, right, if we go back up to the all-time high, it starts to get interesting, right? I actually have to go on the daily chart now because it's been a while since we've been there. 103.5, if I buy right now and we go back up to all-time highs, we're looking at an almost 22% return. So this for me, right? This gets me out of bed. I don't know about you, 22% return, that's kind of nice. So that's kind of how I think about things. Now, doesn't mean that's how you have to think about things, but it's starting to get interesting, especially if we hit 100K, especially if we go below 100K. Bitcoin always goes higher than you think, but Bitcoin also drops more than you think it's going to. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Ashley asks, Matt, what is your technical system? I've made a lot of videos on my technical system, so it's basically in a nutshell. If I had to explain it like in 30 seconds, I just use a bunch of different tools, aka what I like to call confluences. So I use fibs, trend lines, moving averages, key levels, fundamentals is another one, and I just look to see where those line up. And then when there's a spot on the chart where those line up, 2 to 3 to 4 confluences, that's where I set a pending order and I walk away. So if we were to look at like pound yen's moving a lot, let's see here, on the, I don't know, the 1 hour, it's moving a lot. Let's go to the 4 hour. Right. So I would have, if I was looking for a short, which I was looking for a short, I explained last week why. Right. High to low right here. Boom. Say, 61 fib. Not that great because it's only the 61 fib, not really even a key level. So this isn't really a good example. I wouldn't have taken that trade, and I didn't take that trade. So what about this guy from this high to this low? No, still not good. So not a good example there. But we have the free school. I mean, I've made so many videos on my channel about my technical system, but we've got the school community right here. So I should probably approve these 66 membership requests. But in the classroom, you can get the first week for free. It's like a 5-week course, and anybody who purchases a challenge at Lark Funding gets access to the full 5-week course. So I can actually drop. Let me share this guy here. Let me share that link in case any of you want to join. It's completely free. Free is always nice. Boom. There you go. Let's see. Any trading competition soon? Juliet asks, no, not really. I mean, the problem with the trading competition is it costs money to run and everybody just gambles, right? Everybody just gambles. And it's very frustrating because it's not a trading competition, it's a gambling competition. So we try and implement the rules of like, only 1% risk per trade, but then people will create tons of accounts. It's more complicated than you think. Naruto asks, Matt, when did you know you would make a firm and how hard was it to do? So I traded full-time prop firms 2 years, started Lark Funding in 2022, excuse me. It's very different starting a firm back then than it is today. I just knew there were still time limits at the time, and I just thought it was so stupid for a prop firm to have time limits. And so I just said, well, there's got to be a better way. And thanks to my YouTube channel, I came across some people that knew what was going on in the industry and sort of pointing me in the right direction of saying, hey, if you want to start a firm, this is the right way to do it. And here we are over 3 years later. So Ashley asks, Lark 3.0, how will it work? Lark 3.0 will include features that no other prop firm has, mostly on our one-step program. So the one-step program is changing a lot. We're still going to have the 3-step and the instant. Those aren't really going to change. And we're getting rid of the 2-step. Yeah, we haven't revealed all the features yet, but it is coming out on November 17th. So mark your calendars. Gamblers, do you still use FTMO? Juliet asks. I do not use FTMO, but I had a great experience with FTMO. Nothing but good words for FTMO. They're the only other prop firm that I've used. What other things do we have going on in the chat? Hepler says 5 cups enough for Matt. If you're talking about coffee, I mean, Ashley asks, how many cups of coffee do you drink a day? I try and cap it at 2. So I don't like to go too crazy. Two cups of coffee a day. Do you think ETH will go up? I don't know. I mean, Ethereum is probably like just a leveraged play on Bitcoin. My philosophy is Bitcoin or nothing. I'm kind of hardcore like that. Ooh, Bitcoin dropped again, almost 3% now. Let me pull this up. So I don't know. But if Bitcoin is going to go up long term, I know there's different things that go into it, but yeah, I would think Ethereum will probably benefit from that as well. But yeah, after this live stream, I'm gonna be buying some Bitcoin. This is it's getting interesting. I don't know if this. I don't. We might get a bounce from the support. We could break right below. I mean, we're only 3.5% away from 100K. I don't think we're gonna touch 100K today, though. That would be crazy. That would be absolutely wild. No chance. That would be like a 6-7% drop in a day. I don't think that's gonna happen. But gold, massive sell off right now in gold. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. On the 15-minute chart, look at this guy. Boom. Right there. Dollar is up 0.3. Look at that. Dollar's ripping. Gold is crying. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. My first payout with FTMO was I took my first challenge, remember like it was yesterday, November 20th to December 20th, 2021. I think 2021. But yeah, it was November 20th to December 20th because there were still 30-day time limits. And my first payout was $6,900 or so. And that was US. I'm in Canada. So after the conversion, it was like almost 10K. So that was pretty life changing. Oh my goodness. Bitcoin, gold, pound yen. This is crazy. This is crazy. Matt, you owe a challenge. Hepler says, you owe a challenge. I follow you on socials. We don't like that entitled vibe on this channel, right? We work for what we want. Yeah, nobody deserves anything. It's crazy. Stop loss activated. No, Juliet says stop loss activated. No good. Oh, that hurts. We processed some good payouts recently at Lark. I don't think did we post? I can't show you directly the certificate because I got to make sure the last name's blurred. But I think we posted. Let me see here in our Discord. Certificates, payouts. Hold on. Yeah, this one was pretty cool. Yeah, so these are recent. So we had Gerald. I have a heavy tongue. Gerald. Thank you. $2,400. So that's pretty nice. That was on October 28th. What do we have? We have Matthias, $2,068. Another nice one. I believe that was a 100K account. Rico, $1,008. Also on the 28th. 28th was a good day. And then, you know what? I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say the name. $1,938, right? The name doesn't matter. It's the money that's, the most impressive part. $1,938. So, yeah. Check NVIDIA Taudis Trades says, yeah, we could pull up NVIDIA. Oh my goodness, though. But I mean, I can't even look away from this gold chart. Oh my goodness, 1029 for Bitcoin. What is happening? Oh my gosh. That is absolutely crazy. Was there some sort of headline or something? Like, what is going on here? No, I don't see. No, I don't see anything. No, I don't see anything that just happened. I just think the same risk off vibes. I mean, dang. That's crazy. Do you wait, hold on. Before I answer the next question, somebody asked for Nvidia. I mean, talk about overpriced. Talk about overpriced. So how far are we from oh wow, decent drop. Almost 5%, 201. What time is it? 9:39. So the market just opened 9 minutes ago. Yeah, that's no good. What's the S&P at? Hasn't really bled over fully to the S&P. The S&P was down when we started the live stream, so the S&P hasn't started to bleed to the same extent. I don't know if there's no delay here on TradingView. Yikes. 103. That's no good. That's no good. And gold it's hard to look away. It's one of those days. Oh, Coinbase, my beloved Coinbase. I bought it at 180. It was nice when it was back up to $400, but another 4% drop. MicroStrategy. Oil is still hanging in there too at $80. This is a big sell-off, guys. This is like the biggest sell-off we've had on a live stream before. This is this is pretty big stuff. Juliet asks, do you agree with the statistics of top one that 2.3 may percent? Okay, I think you're asking, Juliet, is it true that 2.3% of traders make it to payouts? 2.3%, that's a very specific number, so I'm going to say no. It varies a bit by firm, but I've always shared all of the stats at Lark very, very publicly. In fact, if I pull up the YouTube channel, I've made several videos on this on my channel and on the Lark channel. Um, so you might want to check out. It's one of these. Uh, da, 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 da. Are these? It's here. Da, da, da. How do prop firms actually work? This is one that'll give you some stats, and then this one here. A prop firm owner reveals industry secret. So we have a bunch of stats there. I could just drop that in the chat. But basically, to go over, you guys don't want to see more of my face. Let me share the charts. Oh, we're getting a look at that. We're getting a bounce on Bitcoin already, 103.5. Crazy, but gold still. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's painful. That is absolutely painful. But S&P climbing a little bit, 106. Crazy. Yeah, so every month it varies a little bit. It varies a few points depending on if the market's trending or whatnot. If it's trending, typically a trending market is better for prop traders. Like we've had a lot of traders pass a lot of challenges and make a lot of money with the gold run. But then as it started to oscillate, right, everyone that had their longs and it starts to drop as we're seeing now got closed out. For the most part, it's 10%. The pass rate on a prop firm challenge is 10% as a whole. And of those traders that pass, 50% get a payout. So the number that you mentioned, 2.4, it'd be closer to about 5%. I don't do math in public, but if 100 traders sign up, roughly 10 will pass, and then 50% of that 10. So that's about 5 traders will receive a payout. So the pass rate, I don't know if it's surprising or if it's not surprising. The pass rate is actually higher, 2 to 3. Well, it's more than 2 to 3%, but the pass rate is higher on our one-step challenge. Now, you would think the two-step challenge would have a higher pass rate because it has more drawdown. But there's something about the simplicity of the one-step that I really like. You know, it's just one phase. It's just like, boom, you know what you have to do. It's not like, ooh, I passed phase 1, but I'm not going to celebrate yet because I still have to pass phase 2. So, yeah, so it's a little bit surprising, but not surprising at the same time that the highest pass rate is on the one-step challenge. Well, the highest pass rate is actually on the instant funding because there's no challenge to do on the instant funding. But yeah, in terms of actual challenges, the one step does have the highest pass rate. We didn't take a look at Palantir. Palantir was wild. Did they write it here? No, they didn't. Look at this. Billionaires brace for likely Mamdani win. And as New Yorkers head to the polls today to choose their next appointer, the city's wealthiest inhabitants are facing the probable scenario of self-described democratic socialist, more of a communist, but winning the mayoralty. New Yorkers of high net worth, including Bill Ackman and Michael Bloomberg, as well as some wealthy out-of-towners, poured millions into super PACs opposing Mamdani and backing his top opponent, Cuomo. Why the moneyed feared Mamdani? He's proposed raising the top municipal income tax from 3.9% to 5.9% for New Yorkers, making $1 million per year. I mean, if you're making $1 million in New York, you're still broke. Let's be real. If you were making $1 million in New York City, you're basically poor. I mean, it's so expensive. Many titans of industry are ideologically opposed to his policy wish list, which includes raising corporate taxes, implementing a rent freeze, oh my goodness, on 1 million apartments, opening city-run grocery stores, yeah, because communism has worked really, really well in the past. Some wealthy New Yorkers claim that they'll leave Mamdani's New York City, which could hit city coffers as top 1% earners account for 2/5. Top 1% account for 2/5 of the city's income tax revenues. But billionaires don't pay taxes. Yeah. I wanted to take a look at Palantir because Palantir was a bit crazy. Look at this. Oof, getting destroyed. So they reported earnings yesterday, and you can see here it actually rose 209, and now it's absolutely dumped. I mean, year to date, it's nothing. It's literally you can't even see the blimp. You can't even see the blimp. 152% year to date. So absolutely incredible on Palantir. The PE ratio, 629. If that's not crazy, I mean, come on. 629 is literally insane on Palantir. 629. That's just insane. One more look at the charts here. We got the bounce on Bitcoin. Look at that 15-minute candle print. We got the bounce there. We're heading back up to 104. Gold, though, still struggling. 39.36. S&P is bouncing a little bit as well. So we'll see what happens. But a little bit of support found as the market opened 15 minutes ago. What did I say? I said second most engaged subscriber, which means that Naruto, congratulations. Naruto wins the account for today. So Naruto, send us an email at support@larkfunding.com with proof that you are who you say you are. I don't know. Take a screenshot of your YouTube account, or if your email is the same thing, whatever it is, just send us some, reasonable proof that it is you, and I will personally send out that account for you. I am going to buy some Bitcoin. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to buy some Bitcoin. Hope that it crashes further so I can buy some more Bitcoin, and then buy some more and hope that it continues to fall. So again, only thing I have to sell you is Lark funding. We have our buy one, get three, which is still ongoing. It launched yesterday. So I'll pop that guy there. Best time to start stacking accounts for 2026. Can't believe 2025 is already over. But this was fun. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Stay safe out there. Keep an eye on the charts. Peace.